Hello everyone, welcome to the 12 Bravo channel. I'm very energetic today. I've been up all night drinking coffee and listening to music, reading books, and I'm standing in my kitchen with this awesome background, my apologies. But I'm standing in the kitchen today because I am excited and I just had this idea and I wanted to, pass it on. I was watching this guy on YouTube, Gabe Bolt, I think is how you say his name, B-U-L-T. He's a financial influencer, and I started watching more and more of his videos. And this last video that I watched was him talking about why he doesn't watch other financial influencers on YouTube. And he's right about a lot of them being sensationalists. I started out, I love Dave Ramsey, don't get me wrong, but his show is, more sensationalism. He does give good advice, and he's helped a lot of people. He's helped me. I heard about him first back in 2007. I'm in a unique situation where I retired from the military and I have an income coming in every month from the military. And it wasn't always the best thing for me because I never really thought about retirement because I was already retired. And I never thought about saving up more money because I had that money pretty much guaranteed coming in every month for the rest of my life, right? But with world events and things like that, I started thinking like, well, what happens if the government, goes bankrupt or shuts down or whatever have you, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I started thinking like, man, maybe I should start saving and investing. And, I started listening to Dave Ramsey and started doing the baby steps, and it really helped me. He really helped me because I started looking at my money in buckets. Because before that, I was just spending everything that came in. I mean, and more. I had credit cards that got in trouble with credit cards where I was maxing them out and taking a personal loan out to pay off the credit cards. And look, I'll be completely honest with you on this channel. I ain't gonna lie or front or anything and act like I'm some financial genius. But so I've gone through it, and if I can save anyone else from going through what I went through, the financial hardships that I went through because I was stupid with my money, then even if it's just one person, I'll be happy. But yeah, I mean, like Dave Ramsey will have people call up on his show like, yeah, I make $50,000 a year and I'm $2 million in debt. It's like, okay, like, I'm sorry, buddy, but you're done. You know what I mean? Like, I can't help you. And then there's another one that I started watching for entertainment, Financial Audit. He's really funny. I like his videos. But yeah, I still watch Dave Ramsey. I still watch Financial Audit. I still watch a lot of financial influencers. But I'm at a level now where I need different advice, right? I don't need the advice of like, just don't use credit cards ever. You don't need a credit score and all this stuff like that, like a Dave Ramsey would teach. I need advice on like how to use credit cards properly, right? And that's what I'm finally learning how to do, is how to use a credit card properly. And that's what today's video is about. I just wanted to give you a little background information on me. And if you're wondering why you should watch me, I did sign up for Gabe Bolt. I'm having trouble saying his last name. I don't know why. Bolt, B-U-L-T, built. I don't know, but I'm sure I'll be chastised for it. But anyways, I signed up for his masterclass on how to make YouTube videos better and how to build your channel. And so I'm hoping to learn how to, I bought, I think it's called Adobe Premiere or whatever it is. I subscribed to that, and I have it on my computer, my desktop. And I've been messing around with it. And I actually, my video on my trip up to Ohio in my Polestar, which is an electric vehicle, I took a fully electric road trip 1,000 miles from Tampa Bay to Cincinnati, Ohio. And I edited that video and I tried to throw in some music here and there and stuff like that. And it was really my first attempt at making a professional quality video for YouTube, because I'll be honest, most of my videos are just shot with my phone. I speak off the cuff. I got no script, anything like that. So you may hear a lot of ums and ands and things like that. But I believe my content and what I talk about is pretty solid, because I'm not gonna I'm not going to steer anyone wrong knowingly. Okay, I may be stupid sometimes and may say something that may turn out not to be true later, and I'll come back and say, hey, I was wrong about this if that ever is the case. But and I've been wrong a lot, trust me. But anyways, let's get into how to use credit cards properly. Now, for myself, and this is what works for me, I have YNAB on my phone. I got the YNAB app on my phone, and I sat down and wrote a budget on paper. And this book here, this is Clever Fox, but you can use any, this is a income and expense tracker. So, and it lets you do it weekly, daily, and then you add it up in the back. You can submit your year-end totals, your profit and loss summary, your monthly expenses and everything else here, and then you get your total revenue down here and stuff like that. So as I drop all the inserts, but I got my budget written on the very first page, and I basically listed out my income and all my household expenses, internet, electricity, things like that. And those are obviously estimates. Some of them are estimates, some of them are actual numbers. I have no credit card debt. I got no car loans or anything like that. I just have the mortgage. But, like I have landscaping, a bunch of different things, pest control, stuff like that. So, owning a house is expensive. If you're not very handy like I am. I'm thinking about cutting the landscaping off because that's $100 a month. So I'm kind of looking at the $1,200 a year, and it kind of makes me a little sick to my stomach. They do a great job, but I'm thinking like, man, maybe if I just spent $400 or $500 on some, lawn equipment, I could just cut, trim, and hedge the bushes myself and pick weeds and stuff like that myself and pay myself $100 a month, especially during the winter when you only have to do it once every 2 weeks here in Florida. But anyways, I can't stress the importance of a budget and tracking your spending. That is so important. If you can't do that, then you don't need to be using credit cards. If you can't control your checking account, then you definitely don't need to have a credit card, okay, and use a credit card. If you don't know what's going on with your money, no credit cards, okay? So I think, what Dave Ramsey preaches when he says no credit cards and you don't need a credit score, blah, 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 I think he's like half right and half wrong. Okay, you do need a credit score. Yeah, there are certain situations where you can buy a house without a credit score, but it's a lot more paperwork, a lot more hassle. It's just better to have a credit score. You can, get favorable loans on cars, houses, whatever, get a good credit card with rewards on it. And as long as you use them responsibly, you can get, pretty much every credit card back there is giving you like 2% back on all purchases. Some of them got more if you book flights through them. Like some of them have like five times 5 miles per dollar spent, or 10. And then rental cars, and then they give you the benefits of having like an insurance on rental cars, so you can decline the optional insurance that the rental car company wants to charge you like $30-$40 a day on. Luggage protection. There's just so many. You got to look at them and see what's the best deal for you if you're a traveler, or if you'd rather just have cash back, and you say you eat out a lot and buy groceries and, gas, you can get a couple credit cards to cover those categories, things of that nature. So there's a lot of benefits to using credit cards, but you need to use them responsibly and not spend more than you normally would if you say had cash in your wallet, right? You got to treat it like cash. So, oh, look at my fancy wallet. But yeah, you got to treat these credit cards like cash. And so what I do personally, what works for me is I have my overall budget, like my big budget. Okay, this is what I have coming in and going out a month just to survive. This is before my household expenses, is before like my groceries, before my gas, before anything that's not involved with running the house. So I know exactly how much it costs just to live in this house and to pay everything that goes along with it. Okay. And then I know, like, okay, this is what I have left over at the end of the month. So I'm going to budget $400 for groceries, $200 on eating out, $200 a month in gas, because we only have one car that takes fuel. And I mean, so you just go down the list and then you're like, okay, here's my household, here's my living expenses, which is a separate category, right? And then if you have money left over, congratulations, you're living below your means, okay? You need to set aside money for entertainment, haircuts, makeup, whatever, right? But what I do is every week I sit down with my wife and I look at our outflow, our expenses, and I say, okay, how could we cut back maybe another 10% or something like that? It's not always the case because sometimes we spend a little less, sometimes we spend a little more, but we try to stick to the budget as best as we can. And I'm sorry if you hear Bee Gees in the background. That's my bird room is right next door where my parents are chilling and listening to Bee Gees on their Alexa. But I got one right behind me. She's listening. But anyways, so I sit down and I look at my expenses weekly, okay? And I typically pay my credit card, if not weekly, every 2 weeks. I'll pay it, either once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on how high the balance gets. If it gets up to $1,000, I start to get a little nervous. Like, I'm like, okay, my credit card balance is $1,000, and I'm like, I don't like that, So a lot of people will just pay it once a month. That's fine, but you need to know yourself, and I know myself, so I know that once I get up to $1,000, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to spend a little too much on this credit card. If it's in 1 month, you're talking about, because I use the credit card for, my wife and I use the credit card for all our purchases, and whether it's on Amazon or Target or eating out, we use this one credit card for everything. And I've just started looking into credit card hacks, like getting another credit card that gives me more cash back on groceries, on dining out, and then maybe having another credit card that gives me, 3 or 4% back on gas. And I found one that gives us 4% back on groceries and 4% back on eating out. So you can use different ones depending on what you're doing to get the most cash back that's possible. And it's hard using credit cards responsibly. It's really hard. You have to stay on top of it and make sure that you're never going to use more than what you can pay off at the end of the month before you start getting charged that 20 to 30% interest. Because a lot of credit cards are like at 25% interest these days, 23, 25% interest, and some of them are up to 29, 30%. It just depends on the card and your credit score and things of that nature. But I think that you definitely can use them responsibly, but you have to know yourself. You might not be able to use them at all. It's not for everybody. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I know myself. I can't be trusted with a credit card. So I need to go to a Dave Ramsey cash envelope system, or I need to just use my debit card so I can, when I'm broke, I'm broke, right? And these damn banks are letting people overdraft their accounts and charging them fees on it, which should be illegal. They say, oh, we're sparing our customers embarrassment. It should be illegal to charge overdraft fees and let your account go in the negative, and then they'll charge you like $25 for a Coke or a cup of coffee, and then it'll be multiplied, and then you're like, look, I already don't have money, I'm broke, and you're driving me into the negative even further? How is that customer service? That makes absolutely no sense. So anyways, end of my rant on that. But as far as credit cards goes and using them responsibly, again, you just have to know yourself. You have to make sure that you're watching your expenses like a hawk. Make sure you're watching your cash outflow like a hawk. You know where every dollar is going. And I use an app called YNAB on my phone as well. And I have, all my buckets assign dollars. All my buckets and the items within each bucket, I have assigned dollars, and it tracks my transactions automatically. I'm not sponsored or anything by them, so I don't care what app you use. But I use this one because I like the zero-based budgeting. So I like to know that at the end of the month, if I have leftover money, that money's going somewhere. It's either going into savings or into investing or into paying down the house. I mean, it's going somewhere. I'm not just letting it sit in my checking account. So at the end of every month, theoretically, my checking account is zero. Okay. And YNAB is a zero-based budgeting app. And so like I have all these dollar amounts assigned, which are my estimates, and some real numbers, because like some of my bills, like my internet is $75 a month. That's the same every month. So that's fine. It's not an estimate, but like my groceries might be, $500 this month instead of $400, for example. But, along with my estimates, it'll say, okay, it'll pull the transactions from my bank account and credit card, and it will tell me which categories I've overspent or which categories I have money left in. So you'll see green for, hey, you have $50 more left in this category. Red, you've overspent $50 in this category, and you can change the view to be progress bars or dollar amounts. The only aggravating thing about YNAB though is with my bank, I don't know if it's like that for every bank, but with my bank, I have to like reauthorize it every day just about. I have to click on the thing and reauthorize it if I want it to pull the transactions from my bank account. And I think it's my bank that's doing that, like through security reasons or whatever. So it's kind of annoying on that front. Probably not YNAB's fault, but because my credit card is good, it just stays connected and I see it on there and it's all good. So, but along with YNAB, I have it written and I don't write down every expense. I write down the bucket totals. So like household expenses is this total, discretionary spending is this total, things of that nature. So, I think that is the best way to approach it is just have a weekly meeting, a weekly powwow, either with yourself or your significant other or significant others, whatever, however you roll. But so just stay on top of it, and because you can't possibly build wealth unless you know where your money's going. Okay, and let me tell you, it's a great feeling. Like right now, for the first time in my life, I have no credit card debt and I have no car debt. The only debt that I have is my house, and I got to tell you, it's an amazing feeling. I feel like a ton of weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I stand straighter now. I feel just lighter than air right now because I don't have all that debt weighing me down. And I'm not thinking of, God, I'm paying this much interest on this car, or this much interest on this credit card, or man, I can only afford to make the minimum monthly payments. I know it sucks. I've been there, and it is stressful and it is depressing. And especially if you struggle with mental stuff already, makes it really extremely difficult. So if you are struggling in that situation, financial hardship, I think one of the best ways, I know it's not cheap if you don't have insurance, and sometimes even if you do have insurance, it still costs, copay, but I definitely would recommend to everyone should see a psychologist, I think. Because it's just good to be able to have a person who is not indifferent, but an objective person who's not involved in your life, who isn't your friend, who isn't your spouse, who isn't your parent or child, someone that doesn't have a stake in whether you do well or not. Okay. And they can be objective and they can help you sort through stuff. They, even if it's just someone that just listens, a lot of times when I'm in a funk, I just want someone to listen to me vent, and that helps a lot. So, Man, it's still hot in Florida and it's freaking almost December. God, I'm sweating over here. But anyways, just make sure you talk to somebody, and it's not the end of the world if you're in a lot of debt. Trust me, I've been there. I know it seems like there's no way out sometimes, and I've been in that situation where I'm like, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get out of this hole. So, and now that I'm not in that hole, it's amazing. And I tell you what, I'll never go back. Never will I run up these credit cards again. Never will I take another auto loan that I can't afford. I follow now I plan on keeping my car for a really long time, at least 10 years, 100,000 miles. But I'm going to follow, I think it's, the 4, so 20% down, finance no more for 4 years, and no more than 10% of your income. And no more than 20% of your income total when you're including maintenance and gas. So, so when you buy a car, you want to finance it for no longer than 4 years. You need to put 20% down, and your payments cannot exceed 10% of your income. It's a good rule of thumb. I know there's like financial rules out there, and you're kind of like, who invented this? And, your mortgage shouldn't be more than 25% of your income. Is that gross or net? All this stuff. But there are good guidelines out there, and they're there for a reason, to give you breathing room. God, it feels so good to have some breathing room and not have to worry about, shit, can I afford to go have lunch with my friends today? I can do it without even thinking about it now, which is such a nice feeling. So I hope that if you're not in that position today, I hope that you get there. I recommend YouTubing. I mean, I learned so much from YouTube. There's a lot of bad stuff out there. There's a lot of bad advice. There's a lot of sensationalism. But if you follow the right people, people that are genuine and honest about who they are and about how they deal with their money, I think that you'll be able to learn a lot and get to a good place someday. So if you're not there yet, I hope that you do get there. And you guys stay safe out there and take care, all right? See you later.